Hello everyone, Jeff here for Respawn Studios, back with part 3 of my Crota's End raid walkthrough for the first DLC, The Darkness Below for Destiny. This is the third of 4 parts. This is Yuts. You have to take out a witch, but this is a pretty complex and difficult section, especially if you're new to the raid. So I'm going to show one of our failed attempts, our last failure, and then when we beat it. Alright, so when you run out, you see there are 2 knights. You don't want to engage any of the enemies on the bottom. There are 2 sides here. You can go up the stairs or you can jump off rubble and come up. What you have to do is you have to pull these wizards out. There's 1 on each side, so we often send 1 person in each door to pull out the wizards, and we have everyone else up in these top rooms, which you have to jump up into from the platform that kind of rings around the area. Now, once you pull the wizards out, why do you have to do that? You have to kill the wizards, because otherwise it'll be much more difficult later, first off. And second, well, I guess that's the biggest reason. Nothing really else matters. The point is, you have to clear out enemies and then start Iryut's song, and then once the song starts, you only have 3 minutes to finish this section, which could be killing a lot of enemies, killing shriekers, and then killing the boss when even more enemies spawn. So the point of not engaging the enemies on the bottom is because once one of the enemies on the bottom is killed, the song begins. So sometimes if you engage the enemies, they'll shoot each other, and one of like the acolytes or something will die, and the song will start right away. So you want to run probably all as 1 group, if not send the 1 person that's going to set off the wizard on the other side. But you want to stay close together to limit the risk of setting off the song early. Then there's going to be 2 knights on the top of each stairs. You want to take them out in addition to the wizards. And then you want to take out probably, I think 1 or 2 more knights and a couple acolytes in each area. But you see the song has started. For these shriekers to appear, you have to kill a shrieker on either side. You see where it was in the top. Alright, so you already see it. This is like difficult to explain because there's so many parts. The point of pulling the wizards out, killing the enemies, and then the shriekers, you have to open the door. You can't damage the boss, get into that area until you do all of these steps. So you see the song had started, and that's the only time that these shriekers appear. So ideally you want to take out the wizards and the regular enemies on both sides before you can control triggering the song by then shooting and killing the enemy on the bottom, because that's the only way to make the shriekers appear. And then when you kill the shrieker on either side, the doors open to the boss, and then you could get in and hurt the boss. If someone dies early on, it's not the end of the world if the song hasn't started, but once people start to die, it gets more and more difficult once the song started. Yes, you have 3 minutes. That doesn't sound like a long time, but it actually is. Because if you're focus firing the boss with even, say, 4 people and they have rockets, you can kill the boss in probably 20 to 30 seconds. There's also a little helpful hint from the game itself. When it says, like the witch or the wizard or whatever has begun its liturgy, that means you have 30 seconds left. And look, we're damaging the boss so quickly here. But, unfortunately, we were taken out. And I think there was only 1 other person left. Yeah, so we got really close in that attempt, but unfortunately we died. Alright, so now we'll see the completed attempt. You see it's still the same raid group. This is all from 1 recording. The Crota's, the final battle after this, though, we kept dying a few times, and then I had stopped recording by the time we had beaten it. So I'm going to have to do a new recording of the boss. But want to get this part up, keep the videos coming so they're not weeks apart. Alright, so here we go. I'm setting off the one on this side. I'm a hunter. I run pretty quickly, and I'm used to doing this. You don't want to engage the knights. If they hit you, you're dead. So you do want to get up to the top room. The person that sets off the witch on the other side should likely go to their top room and then snipe you want to have all 6 people shoot at the same witch or wizard at the same time to really burst them down, and then everyone switches to the other one. It just makes it simpler in our experience. Alright, so you see wizards down on this side. Unfortunately, Thor lost connection. He got one of those animal error code messages and was kicked to the dashboard. Alright, so now we're trying to finish off the other witch. Alright, so they're both dead. Now it's time to take out the knights. And as you noticed last time, we still stay up here to take out these knights. The one variable with this, which makes it really frustrating, is sometimes enemies have followed you up to the top of the stairs, and you might accidentally kill one of the knights from the bottom. So that's why you want to be kind of stealthy and get up top as quickly as you can, because most often that's not an issue. Then the 2 knights that are left up there are ones that you can safely kill because they're tied to this top room. So now we're going to take out the regular enemies, acolytes and knights. Their knight was pulled out. I think we had backed up here because Thor had just rejoined, and we wanted to make sure that we could revive them now and not during, once the song had started, to make it more difficult and more stressful on our team. So you see the timer had started to go down, so now we re-engage, start to take out the enemies, send someone to get Thor. I'm used to going in and killing the Shrieker because my rockets usually kill it in 2 rockets and then a couple shots. Or if I have Golden Gun, I could use that and really kill it with the 4 shots. Golden Gun's really useful at this part anyway, for the boss, the Shriekers, the Knights, the Wizards. I know a lot of people say Hunter's the worst, but it's by far my favorite class. Alright, so I'm waiting on this side. You see I've cleared out the room, waiting for the other side to kill their enemies. Alright, so now you see the song has started. So there are 2 rockets, now a couple shots, and it's down. Beware the death purple blast. They will kill you. I think even 2 will kill you. So we quickly switch sides to help with this side, taking the Shrieker down, to make it not really an issue with the purple. Oh, here actually I come right back. Because this side's cleared out now, there's no threat of the purple death blasts, and now I'm waiting for them to take down theirs, and then we could start to fight the boss very quickly. But you see, no one's really going in over there, so... as with all parts of the raid, as I mentioned before, communication is important. Say who's doing what. I need help. I need to be revived. I'm up in 10 seconds. All of those things. Let people know when you're about to come up, where you're moving, how weak enemies are, if you need help. So here I come over, help finish off some of the enemies. Put rockets in the Shrieker. And there we go. Now, once the Shriekers are dead, enemies from the bottom start to flood up. But we had pulled them all to that one side, so we all quickly switched to this side to avoid a lot of the enemies. Now, unfortunately, though, a couple more enemies start to spawn. A couple Thralls and a couple Hallowed Knights spawn in the main room with the boss, Ir-Yut. Now, you see, I paused to pull out a heavy ammo synth. It's kind of dangerous, but I was also in a Titan shield, and it really helps to have my rockets here. So you see we're already doing a lot of damage. We already have the boss under half. Once you get in here, it's not really a problem. You could be jumping around to avoid the night blasts. You see, I think that's Nick is above the door where the knights can't even hit you. And the enemies that shoot often don't even come into the room, so you're pretty safe up there. So unfortunately, I'm not alive when the boss is killed here. You see, I just died when the boss was weak, but I'm still trying to give callouts. You see, someone's up there above the door. But they died. But we have a couple more people up now because we got a revive, so we have 3 people up. We're trying to tell them to focus fire the boss if possible, but Ornstein died. But the boss was so weak, we're just trying to finish it off. Here's Nick. Oh, we got a couple more revives over here. So it becomes pretty chaotic because you do die so quickly to the regular enemies. Oh, but, duh. We had already killed the boss. That's why they were going for the revives. I'm so dumb. Sorry. I didn't get any. You don't get any rewards at this point, which is one of the most, well, by far the most frustrating part of this new raid. This is arguably the most difficult or stressful thing because there's so many odd things that can go wrong, and you don't get any rewards for it at all. So that really sucks. If anything, it makes more sense to get rewards here than like the bridge part, but whatever. I'm leaving the video going, even though this isn't really important, but you do have to clear out the other enemies before the final part begins. It's not like you kill the boss and it's automatically done. You could still be killed, and I think if you don't finish killing the enemies, you have to restart the whole section. That's why I leave this in. It's not over once the boss is dead. You still have to stay alive, make sure everyone's up, and take out a lot of regular enemies. But that is essentially the battle. I'm not going to leave this entire part in, because I'm sure it will get boring, but there are likely the knights and acolytes in the bottom that have made their way up top that are just outside the doors, and we have that on both sides. And then once you finish killing the enemies, you'll hit the checkpoint, you'll see the new objective, and you'll be on the final boss, which is another complex part, but once you have the pattern down, it's not as bad. But there are some variables with that too, some exceptions where Crota can start to move early. Oh, so there we get the new mission right there. But before we want to start it, we want to make sure we clear out the other enemies. It'll make it much more difficult if we don't. Alright, so that will be the end of part 3. We are now up to the final boss, Crota himself. And that video should be up within a couple days. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this useful, and I'll be back with that final part soon.